Like if the Blazers had Hakeem,
yeah. But then they went for this nigga. What's his name?
Fuck Vano.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy K-Spot. Check out the Discord server. Find me on Twitch. Links in the description. You about to check out this video. How good was Larry Bird actually? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know the nigga was good. Don't get it twisted. I'm gonna say it again. I let him call me nigga. You feel me? It's Larry Bird. But yeah, let's see how good he actually was. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of y'all were like, yo, checking it out on YouTube is not the same as seeing it live, bruh. I feel it. But it's all we got, nigga. I was not born in the 70s, bruh.
Larry Bird was one of the best players to ever touch a basketball, and together with Magic Johnson, the biggest NBA star of the 80s. What made him so successful considering he was quite unathletic? And how would he fare in today's NBA? Did he win just because his teams were loaded? And where does he stand among the best shooters of all time? Watch the rest of the video to find out. A hick from French Lick. Bird was born into a poor family in French Lick, Indiana, a town of 2,000 inhabitants. Larry grew up a shy, introverted kid who didn't talk much, and he did most of his talking on the basketball court. He grew up to 6'9", played a small forward, but with his understanding of basketball, he could play whatever position he wanted. Larry finished his high school career as the best scorer in school's history, and he could choose where he wanted to go to college. He started playing for Bobby Knight at Indiana University, but didn't like the spotlight and being around so many people. He then settled at Indiana State University, where the pressure was much less than with the Hoosiers. Larry averaged 30.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists in college. The Sycamores were invincible in Bird's senior year, and became the #1 team in the country with a 33-win streak. Their only loss came in the 1979 NCAA Finals, where they played against Michigan State, led by senior guard Urban Johnson. Despite 19 points from Bird, Magic and his teammates celebrated the title in what was the most watched college basketball game in history at the time. Bird was named the Collegiate Player of the Year, leaving Indiana State as the 5th-ranked NCAA scorer of all time. He was already drafted, as the Boston Celtics selected him in the NBA draft in 1978, hoping that Bird, who qualified for the NBA as a junior, would skip his senior year. He opted to stay in Indiana, and when he finally arrived in Boston, the Celtics looked nothing like their championship selves, with consecutive losing seasons. Bird then single-handedly caused the biggest turnaround ever seen in the NBA at the time. Boston improved their record from the season before by 32 wins, and finished with 61 wins, record from the season before, the biggest turnaround ever seen in the NBA at the time. Boston...
I do not know a single person on that team.
None of them.
But yeah, none.
Damn, Larry Bird has always looked old. He kind of always had an old man face. You know what I'm saying?
A bird face. Long nose face.
Long nose ass.
They improved their record from the season before by 32 wins, and finished with 61 wins and 21 losses. Although his arch-rival Magic Johnson had an impressive season and won the title with the Lakers, Bird was named the Rookie of the Year with the average of 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. He also made the All-Star team.
Damn, that was what he was averaging his rookie year?
And 4.5 assists. He also made the All-Star team and first-team All-NBA, and even finished 4th in the MVP voting.
Wait, first-team All-NBA in his rookie season?
10.4 rebounds and 4.5 assists. He also made the All-Star team and first-team All-NBA, and even finished 4th in the MVP voting, and proved he could transform a mediocre team into a great one.
Oh, that's McHale. The guy who's not as good as Durant.
After Bird's rookie year, the Celtics had a busy offseason. Legendary Red Auerbach worked his magic and brought 2 new faces to Boston that would form one of the biggest dynasties in NBA history. Auerbach robbed Golden State by sending them the first and 13th pick in the 1980 draft in exchange for center Robert Parrish and the 3rd pick, which became Kevin McHale. Along with the newly formed Big Three, the Celtics also had an all-star point guard, Nate Tiny Archibald, young and athletic forward Cedric Maxwell, and a few well-integrated role players that made the team complete. The head of the snake was, of course, Larry Bird, who was second in MVP voting, en route to a league-leading 62-20 record. The Celtics avenged the loss to the Sixers from the previous year, and after a tough 7-game series in the Eastern Finals, they were in the NBA Finals once again. There they would be met by the Houston Rockets, led by prime Moses Malone, who was arguably the best center in the league at the time. Malone averaged 23 and 16 in the series, but the Celtics were too good of a team and would win the title with 4 games to 2. Bird averaged 15 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists for the series. But the finals MVP went to Cedric Maxwell, who led the Celtics in scoring with 18 points per game. And when everybody already saw the new Green Dynasty, 2 bad years ensued, despite Bird's all-around excellence and McHale's improvement. They once again were the #1 seed in the East. Bird was the All-Star Game MVP, but Philadelphia retaliated for a close defeat in the Eastern Finals. And this time, they won in 7 games. The year after, the Celtics regressed even more, finishing as a 3rd seed and getting swept in the 2nd round by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Damn.
After that, Coach Bill Fitch resigned and was replaced by Casey Jones, who won 8 titles in the Bill Russell era as a player. The change bore fruit. The team was refreshed with the young shooter Danny Ainge and veteran point guard Dennis Johnson, and played the best basketball in the NBA, finishing with a 62-20 record. After 3 years of coming in second, Larry Bird finally won the regular season.
Bro, you can't tell me this nigga don't look like a grandpa right here. He look old as shit.
Season MVP with 24.2 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 6.6 assists on average. The Celtics steamrolled to the finals, where a known foe awaited. It was, of course, Magic and the Lakers. The title was decided in Game 7, where Larry Bird led the Celtics to their 15th NBA title. Bird was named the Finals MVP, and he finally had his revenge over Magic.
I'd say Larry Bird is better than Magic Johnson.
No, shut your mouth.
1979. The following
Shut your
season,
mouth.
You think
Celtics
Magic
were
Johnson is
better
better
than
than Larry
regular.
Like, he's the best
Bird
point guard
repeated
ever.
as MVP, and McHale repeated as the 6th man of the year.
Right, he came
They got
into
to
the
finals
league,
again,
won
the
finals
same
MVP.
opponent. After the Celtics won Game 1, 148-114.
Tell me one person
in a
come
game
into
that
the
was
league,
dubbed the
finals
Memorial Day
MVP.
Massacre. It seemed like the Celtics were going to dominate the Lakers and repeat as champions. However, the Lakers had
After
other
Kareem
plans,
retired,
especially Kareem,
who won
was
them the
determined to
titles?
defeat the Celtics. Kareem
Let
averaged
me know what y'all
25.7
think. Who y'all think is
points,
better,
9
Larry Bird
rebounds,
or
and 5.2 assists in 6
Magic Johnson?
games. On 60%.
I'd say Larry
shooting.
Bird. You
And
know what I'm
the
saying?
Lakers
This time I'm on
finally
y'all
won the NBA
side
Finals against
for the first
Celtics.
time.
For the first time in 9 tries. 1986, the greatest Celtics team ever, and the pinnacle of Bird's career. After the finals loss, Auerbach made another clever move. He traded Cedric Maxwell to the Clippers for Bill Walton, once one of the most talented centers in the league, who accepted the role of a 6th man on the Celtics, while Kevin McHale moved to the starting
Bill
lineup. The
Walton was
Celtics won
great before
50
he
out
got
of
injured.
51 home games that year,
I ain't
which
even
is a
heard of
record
Bill
that
Walton.
still stands and likely will never
He
be
almost
broken.
carried his
Larry
life.
Bird experienced the absolute peak of his game and basketball brilliance in 85-86.
Look
He
at that
deservedly
jumper,
won another
looking
MVP
like me.
and became the only player other than Wilt and Bill Russell to win the award in 3 straight seasons. The 85-86 season birthed several games that proved the endless basketball genius of Larry Bird, and most notable is the left-handed game. Before the game against Portland,
Left-handed
Bird
game?
surprised his teammates and journalists by saying that he would shoot
how
the
many
whole
rings do
game
you
with his
think
left hand
Magic got?
because he wanted to motivate himself for a relatively meaningless regular season game. How much did he score? Just 47 points.
Yo, what the fuck? Nah, wait.
Left-handed game. Before the game against Portland, Bird surprised his teammates and journalists by saying that he would shoot the whole game with his left hand because he wanted to motivate himself for a relatively meaningless regular season game. How much did he score? Just 47 points, 14 rebounds, 11 assists with a game-winning shot, and 22
With a left hand? Nah, that's fucking
points scored with
crazy.
his left hand out of sheer boredom and fun. And those are the reasons why he was called Larry Legend. Apart from that,
Okay.
he also scored a career-high 60
damn.
points on the Atlanta Hawks earlier in the season. Almost everything he put up toward the
This
basket
game,
went in. He
yeah,
got
that
into
shit-
such a zone
that
that the
shot.
Hawks bench jumped off their chairs and cheered, after which they received hefty penalties from
This
the
nigga
Hawks
dropped
coach,
47
Mike
with his
Fratello.
left
Throughout the
hand
game, the
because he was
commentator noted
bored.
that what he was watching was the biggest shooting exhibition in basketball history. And at the time,
I love
it truly
that bench.
was. The Celtics won 67 games in the regular season and lost just 1 game in the playoffs on their way to the finals. There, they would be greeted by the Twin Towers of Houston, Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon. who defeated the Lakers in the West Finals. But nobody could touch the Celtics that season, who were one of the most talented teams ever assembled. Bird was 2 rebounds and 3 assists shy of averaging a triple-double in the finals, and he deservedly won his second Finals MVP. Final years, injuries, and the Dream Team. In 1987, the Celtics had a very difficult season. Their number 2 pick, Len Bias, tragically passed away after the draft, and they suffered many injuries during the season and the playoffs. But Larry Bird was too good, and they still advanced to the finals after 2 7-game series against the Bucks and the Bad Boy Pistons, where Bird made one of the most legendary plays and stole the inbounds pass from Isaiah Thomas that won a crucial Game 5 Harry plays and stole the inbounds pass from Bad Boy Pistons, where Bird made one of the most legendary plays and stole the inbounds pass from Isaiah Thomas that won a crucial Game 5 for the Celtics. And in the finals again, it was the Lakers for the 3rd time in 4 years. Because LA was much more rested coming to the finals.
Bro, these pictures are so HD, but the quality of the
because pictures are easier to make high definition.
That looks clean as hell.
Yeah, but
when you look at the videos, the quality is dog shit.
Because LA was much more rested coming to the finals, the Celtics did not have enough gas in the tank to stop the fast-paced showtime. Bird delivered another 24, 10, and 5 for the series, but it wasn't good enough, and Magic got the best of him once again. Next year, Bird had maybe one of the best.
These niggas had a rivalry.
He averaged 30 points on 50, 40, and 90 shooting, a feat he achieved the previous year as well, proving that he's the best shooter who ever played at the time. The Celtics reached the conference finals, but it would be their last hurrah as the Pistons finally got over the hump and managed to beat them. In the offseason, Bird sustained a severe back injury from chopping wood back home in Indiana. He was one of the best basketball players in the world, who had millions of dollars, but he was still the hick from French Lick, who chopped his own wood when he needed to, and I respect him even more for that. The back injury and surgery on both Achilles tendons caused him to miss almost the entire 88-89 season. However, even debilitated, Bird was better than most players in the league, and despite needing to stretch for more than 2 hours to be able to run, he was still very productive. He was named an All-Star each of the last 3 seasons, along with some memorable performances, like a game in the 1991 playoffs where he suffered a concussion, but then pulled a Willis Reed and came back to the game, scored 17 points in the second half, and won the series for the Celtics. Unfortunately, the toll on his body was getting too much to bear, and he ended his career in 1992, when he finally became teammates with his good friend, Magic Johnson, on the Dream Team. Bird flew off into the sunset with the gold in Barcelona. Retired.
Damn, that roster
Johnson
is tough.
on the Dream.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. That, Olympics team workout, that would be tough.
Damn, that's a tough roster. That's fucking tough.
On the other end, you got Larry, Magic.
God damn.
Got Jordan, Pippen, Hakeem, Patrick Ewing, Stockton.
Sheesh.
Bird flew off into the sunset with the gold in Barcelona, retiring as the best small forward and the best shooter to ever play. Legacy. Trash-talking god. Top 10 player ever.
Oh, yeah,
one of the most famous Larry Bird.
I don't even argue about his trash talk.
From the 1986 three-point shooting contest.
He
when the
got
legend walked into the locker room
there's
and asked
4
all
others,
the other
3
participants
others I know
who's coming in second after him. Of course,
Jordan,
he went on and swished near every three-pointer and won, all without taking his jacket off. Bird would win the
fucking Garnett
competition in the next 2 years as well. And before Reggie Miller came along, there was no argument who's the best shooter ever. On the 26th of December, 1990, Indiana's Chuck the Rifleman Person said he's going bird hunting before the Celtics game. Bird replied that he got a Christmas present for him. And while Chuck was on the bench, Bird got the ball in the corner just in front of the Pacers bench. He hit the jump shot, turned to Chuck, and said, "Merry effing Christmas." And that's who Larry Bird was, and how he talked. He was the ultimate competitor, and he had all the skills in the world to back it up. He'd tell players where he would get the ball, what he was going to do, and then do it. And there was nothing they could do to stop it. He accused the opposing team of putting a white guy to guard him because he felt that was disrespectful. If you watch Space Jam, you know that Larry isn't white. He's clear. Bird would drink half the bar under the table. Sometimes he'd fight people in the bar as well, and then go to the game the next day and dominate, as if nothing happened. Bird was a unique player, and there was nobody like him. At first glance, his moves look almost clumsy, far from physically dominant or athletic. He rarely dunked, his vertical was average at best, and he never played exceptionally fast.
He had
the
the
neck
length
down,
for it.
in basketball terms, he was nothing special. From the neck up until the end of his fingertips, he was pure genius. There's no doubt that he would be a great player in today's era, where we can see players like Doncic and Jokic dominate the game without great physical talent. Bird was one of the top 10 players who ever played, and one of the best pure shooters ever. He was the best player in the NBA for almost an entire decade, despite the brilliance from Magic and the athleticism of Michael Jordan. And like Magic Johnson said, there will never be another Larry Bird from players who ever played. And one of the best pure shooters ever. He was the best player in the NBA for almost an entire decade, despite the brilliance from Magic. And
despite. You still think Magic Johnson's better?
Hey, what's better, 3 rings or Magic's? How many rings does he have?
Fuck the accolades, bro. Like,
Bro, after Kareem retired, who did he have on his team? Please tell me. 5 Hall of Famers? 5 Hall of Famers? No. Still won 5. He won
Michael
5.
Jordan. And like Magic Johnson said, there will never be another Larry Bird.
Bird versus Magic, greatest rivalry in sports history. Yeah, that'd be a good video to watch. How good was Wizards Michael Jordan? Damn, this is a fire videos. Alright, so yeah, that was how good Larry Bird was. Yeah. I mean, he was that nigga. I mean, some of this shit surprised me, that left-handed game. What he did in his rookie season, that's fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, I fuck with Larry Bird, don't get twisted. I just think that, there's people who are better than him. Alright. So, we gonna talk about this in the comments. Larry Bird versus LeBron James, and Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. Let me know what y'all think down below. With that being said, check me out on Discord, Twitch, links in the description, and I'm out of this bitch.